Hi guys, my name's April and I'm going to be walking you through the participatory vendor selection assignment. So what you're going to be doing for this assignment is you're going to be selecting two EHR vendors that you're going to evaluate. I've listed some examples below. Oh, sorry. Then you're going to be picking two decision makers or stakeholders that you want to interview about these EHR systems. And these could be clinicians, chief information officers, chief medical information officers. Um, there's other stakeholders and decision makers you could interview. You will also be selecting three criterion that you're going to be evaluating these systems on. I've listed some examples here. There's also many more for those. You will also be looking at published literature and expert opinions um, to evaluate these EHR systems on, and you're going to be doing this using the same three criteria that you picked previously. Next, you're going to be calculating overall scores for these vendors with the goal in mind to determine which vendor is the preferred option. And to do this, we want to calculate two main things, and that is the standardized weight as well as standardized rating. So first, we're going to get the standardized weight. So you see in table 1, this is our raw data that we got from our interviewee, and it's rated on a scale of 0 to 100, how each vendor rates for each criterion. Next, we're going to be calculating the relative importance, and this is going to help us get our standardized weight. To do this, you want to ask the interviewee to also rate the criteria that you picked, which one's the least important, and then you're going to be evaluating the other two criteria around that. So for the lowest one, that's going to be assumed a value of 10. And then each other criteria is going to be evaluated relative to that. So, for example, in this case, criterion if 2, if it's 3 times more important than criterion 1, the value for that is going to be 3 times 10, which is going to be 30. Similar process for criterion 3. And once you get those relative values, you're going to be adding those together. In this case, it's equal to 60. And then dividing the sum of those back into the relative importance. And that's going to give you your standardized weight at the bottom left there. Now that we have our standardized weight, we want to get we want to standardize the rating. And the formula for this is x equal to 100 times x, which in this case is the initial rating value, minus the minimum rating value that was received. And then you're going to divide that by the maximum rating value minus the minimum rating value again. So in this example, 10 would be the minimum rating value, and 90 is the maximum. And so these are the numbers that you're going to be plugging back into the formula. And I've listed examples how those would be written out below. And that's going to give you a new standardized rating for each vendor and each criteria. Okay, now that we've calculated both the standardized weight and standardized rating, we're going to use these to evaluate the overall score for each vendor. So what you're going to do for this is in the table now, instead of the initial rating that we received from the interviewee, we have listed the standardized rating. For each criteria, you're going to be multiplying the standardized rating with its associated standardized weight, and then you're going to be adding the sum of those together, and that's going to give you your overall score. In this case, we see that vendor 2 has a higher overall score. So in this case, it would be our preferred vendor choice. The last and final step is introspection, evaluating how all these variables, such as interviewing decision makers and stakeholders, really help you get an idea of what they're looking for in an EHR system, as well as evaluating the different criteria and which areas are more important than others. And all these things come together to help determine what's going to be your preferred system.